Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Hey, good morning, everybody. I am Trevor Pro-Molyneux and Jill Spitzberg.
I'm not letting you introduce me. I'm introducing you. This is my beautiful, dynamic, unbelievably energetic friend.
Thank you.
Who's been unbelievably energetic this year, 2017, that we're not that upset about saying goodbye to.
Right.
Yes and no.
We have our feelings about it. But, we also want to introduce Hazel. She's going to be hanging out with us today.
Unfortunately, subbing for our co-host that got the stomach bug that the whole world is getting, so be careful.
Right. And so, we were supposed to have Gina Ludlow with us, but she's not feeling very good this morning. So, Gina, we hope you're feeling better. Yes, and we're so sad that you're not feeling good.
Come back on soon next month.
Yes.
We want to do like a little view-ish type of things with some great friends of ours with big, wonderful personalities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like we were kind of thinking today's going to be a wrap-up. We had a really good year. We've done a lot of stuff. We just got this show going in, was it March? I think it was March.
If that.
Yeah. And so we want to sort of go over some of the cool things we did. But so let's think about 2017 from a big picture.
Okay.
So good parts, bad parts. What do you want to talk about?
It's just everything's so wild now, I feel like, and things that normally in other years would stand out as maybe the story of the year are even getting pushed aside by 10 bigger stories of the year. But some of the big things that stood out for me are, of course, we were at the Women's March last January.
Yes.
And a lot of people actually have questioned, did that do anything? Did it mean anything? Did it start anything? Well, I think, by the way, I remember when we were smushed in that part in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember who we were listening to? Ashley Judd.
It was amazing.
But she's the one that started the whole Harvey Weinstein thing. She's the one that really spoke up, that made a significant difference. And I keep thinking, I wonder if that inspired her that day.
That was a big moment. And January 20th, 2017, it's on my Facebook wall. It's my background picture. And I've talked to people. Somebody said to me recently, well, there was all these women there walking around, and I think she used the word vagina hats and said, they don't even know what they were really...
That's very classy, actually.
Exactly, wonderful. But what were they really marching for? Because it didn't seem to be really a clear purpose. And I think we all know now really what it was. And it's come out to be this amazing sea change for women and equality and things that Jill's been talking for a long time.
Well, both of us, it's things that, we want to be heard and we want to be treated respectfully and equally. And if nothing else, if it inspires some people to feel like that they need that, then it was great. But I think it was also the beginning of a year that had some awful things, but had a lot of people standing up and speaking out for, look at Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
Look at the difference he's made, and you may or may not agree with him. He did just get the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award that was presented by Beyonce by ESPN.
Very interesting.
So that really puts him, I think he's a huge game changer. And I think that a lot of times people have to go he didn't do anything violent.
No.
He protested peacefully and with a big stage. But I think that a lot of times it's only big moves that make the shifts in the culture, and I think he has. I don't know. I mean, again, you may disagree, but I think he has, and he's obviously being recognized by kind of mainstream people. Or look at Charlottesville. That's another thing that to me was a huge.
We've seen a lot of things be okay to talk about or okay to protest, and even our president sort of supported a bunch of young white men saying what I thought to be very racist, anti-Semitic remarks. So we've seen some...
I don't think you were really out there with that opinion.
Yeah, it was pretty appalling.
Yeah.
So that's that. We're seeing things that are coming out that were buried. Maybe everybody, or there was a sort of ideal of political correctness that maybe it's okay not to be politically correct anymore. And we're seeing some real opinions which are, to me, disgusting.
But on the other hand, you're seeing so many people say like, okay, not okay.
Yeah.
And not just not okay. I'm going to march. I'm going to call. I'm going to move. I'm going to run for office. Roy Moore, another huge story of the year. I don't know if he's given up in yet though.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if he's still. I don't know.
I think it's time for him to concede.
But you heard Confederacy. It took them a long time.
and there was a woman, a Democrat, who won in Virginia by one vote.
Come on.
So anybody who thinks their vote doesn't count, It really
Anyone
does.
who that day is feeling a little sluggish or
Yeah.
a little like I don't need to get,
Yeah.
and often it's really small.
Mm-hmm.
So are you checking that?
Oh yeah, I should be checking out my
Just
laptop.
in case any of our
But yeah,
buddies-
you guys, if you want to weigh in and talk to us about
Yeah.
any of these issues, we really love to hear your opinion. But
definitely, like what did you think was some of the biggest stories of the year, and what are your feelings on it? But there's so many. I'm just going with kind of that whole social justice theme that I think covers like Colin Kaepernick and the women and Alabama and people just speaking out, and I think that's how things work. They just they don't change like on a dime, but they do evolve, and more people kind of come to sort of a general shift. And so I'm hoping that's what is going on, even despite the other side that you're talking about, which is always there. It's always going to be there.
yeah,
But hopefully it doesn't get to make any progress.
What makes me happy is that democracy works, and when everybody gets out there and votes and makes their voices heard, it matters. And
Right.
we're really seeing that. And certainly from a female perspective, what's changed is so dramatic. We've seen hugely powerful people across the board, from Harvey Weinstein to Matt Lauer to Roger Ailes to Bill O'Reilly to men in Congress, Al Franken, and I've had some interesting conversations. I wish Gina was here. I was talking to her yesterday about Al Franken, that even some of the people that we wouldn't want to see fall have fallen.
I want to see anyone fall who acts this way.
Right. Well, that's what I
don't
was saying.
care.
It doesn't matter what party you're from.
No, you can't be
Right.
hypocritical
Exactly.
on this.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
A shout out to Tori Vaught this morning.
Hi, Tori.
Hi, Tori. Tori's stepdad passed away, Billy. I'm sorry.
He did?
Tori, yeah. I'm sending you lots of love, and I'll see you soon. But yeah, he was a great gentleman.
He was remarkable.
He was remarkable.
Didn't
Billy
he
Harbaugh.
produce the
I believe in
Tonight Show?
Yeah.
Like the original?
And he was a gentleman.
Yeah. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And Joe Carlson saying good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Joe.
Officer Joe, I love you.
By the way, I don't know if this is happening in Fairfield. I really hope not. But I saw a friend of ours posted that in New Canaan, a lot of people are breaking into trunks of cars and homes, and they're attributing it to the opioid crisis, and to not be really careful. Don't leave your cars outside, especially not unlocked, and don't leave
you
your
gotta leave your
presents in
cars
the
outside.
trunk.
Not all of us have garages.
Yeah, that's true. Well, if you can, I'm sorry.
Don't leave
I
stuff
meant
in
to
there.
say don't leave your gifts outside.
Oh yeah.
Don't
do
leave
that.
your gifts outside in your car, especially unlocked in your driveway. And so, Trevor, you need to get my diamond bracelet out of your Mini Cooper right now.
I was storing it in there.
Yeah, I know. It must be the one that I had my heart set on at Wave that I was dilly-dallying about, and I called, and she's like, "It's gone." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, you know how you're thinking, maybe I'll get that, maybe I'll get that. So, yeah, I thought maybe you bought it. It was outside, and I didn't want anyone to take it.
I was going to hold it for you and surprise you for your birthday. By the way, we are going to be celebrating Jill's birthday.
Yeah, great. On to the next topic.
As we're talking today,
is that our heads getting
our
off,
heads,
or is it
no,
just
it's just my
okay.
computer.
Sorry.
We're going to be talking about some of our sponsors, because we really have gotten off the ground today with many thanks to all of our sponsors, the people who have supported us.
Yep.
And we're really excited. And one of our funnest shows was really at Wave New Canaan. So
Yes.
good morning, ladies. We love you.
Yes, I do.
All right.
Great
Let's think of a couple things this year that you personally liked, like art or movies or entertainment, anything specifically that you remember that people should go do, see /
I haven't been to so many movies this year, but I'm going to some. I have like 5 on my list for next week.
Me too.
What are you? I know you said you loved I, Tonya.
Tonya.
Dying to see that too.
Everybody should see this movie.
Yeah.
I think best screenplay.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
And Margot Robbie was amazing. And Allison Janney, I don't know if you remember her from
yes.
West Wing.
Yes.
She's brilliant. She plays Tonya Harding's mother. Freaking awesome.
She's kind of good at the little bit of intimidating mother.
Edgy, kind of mean mom.
Yeah. What was that show about Masters and Johnson?
Yeah, she was in that. That's right.
too.
Yeah,
she's been in so many things. She was incredible.
Her.
I want to see Lady Bird.
Yeah.
I saw some good Broadway shows this year. I don't know though; they're all fall out of my head. Yeah. Like if you, I didn't get to see Springsteen because the budget's a little. He's on Broadway.
It's $1,000 a ticket.
Oh, at least you found 1,000?
Yeah, it was like 800 or so.
Oh, I thought it was even way more than that.
I think it's like 4,000. I heard that on NPR the other day.
A decent ticket.
Yeah, I saw M. Butterfly.
Like you might just want to look around the audience for like networking. That's such a good show.
M. Butterfly was amazing. It was a really interesting year. There's a lot of things. Personally, I'm happy the year's over.
Yeah, you had a hard year.
It was a rough year.
But even from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, think of your life.
Yeah.
1 year.
1 year, yeah. It's
Look
been
interesting. You're glowing partly because the BBL maybe.
Yes.
We had the BBL last week.
Dr. Christine Gould, All About You Med Spa. We both got a little of our laser, and I feel like I'm glowing.
This morning, I almost didn't, but I did a little. I almost didn't put on any makeup base because I was looking. See, I have a lot of redness.
You look really good.
And I looked in the mirror, and I'm like, I don't have a lot of redness, and this is just one. And
we need
I don't know, something looks a little better. It does, and so you need 2 times, I think.
Yeah,
and maybe 3 for a true.
Shout out to Chris Gould.
Oh my God.
All About You
Magician.
Laser BBL Forever Young.
It's really, and it's such a nothing to like experience, and you just walk out and you're fine. So. Yeah, so maybe after the next time, barefaced.
Barefaced.
Plus, we're showing our before and after pictures,
yes, we're
which
gonna do
I can't even ever in my life believe I'm saying.
Right.
Not ever.
So this year I became single again, and that's been an interesting experience and fun. And again, I have some wonderful, incredibly supportive friends. Shout out to, of course, Lisa Winjam. We love her, right?
Oh my God.
Right.
I got to work with her through Joyful Heart on the event we just did, but she's just a terrific friend and person.
Yeah. Drew Georgiadis is another that spent a lot of good time with her.
But you're such a good friend too.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
I this is so corny. I know this is so corny. But the Beatles, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Like, that's my mantra.
I love
and
that.
Every time I feel like you don't put it out there, and sometimes you do put it out there and you don't get it back. Okay, to be honest, that does happen sometimes, but in the general full scheme, I think it does. I mean, it may not be exactly with each person if you put out there you get back, but I think in life, if you're a good friend, a true friend,
I believe that too.
Parent, whatever. Yeah,
karma can be wonderful. You put out all that love, it comes back to you. If it doesn't, well,
then move on.
Exactly. So Nancy Ann says people in New Canaan leave their keys in their car unlocked. So I guess we got to stop doing that, people. And Tori Vaught saying, thanks, guys. Billy was 98 when he passed.
I remember he came to this fashion show we did.
Yes.
Where his wife, who has just died, Tori's mom, gorgeous woman, had modeled. And he was, so then he had to have been like 95 right then. Yeah. In the front row, like, loving it, smiling, living up. What a cool guy.
Coolest guy. Couple topics we were sort of thinking about by Beyonce. What did you want to talk about Beyonce?
Oh, that's what I was saying. So she came out for, surprised. Imagine Beyonce coming out surprising you. Can you imagine what it's like to be Beyonce just for a day or two?
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Oh my.
Although, there was an article I wanted to talk about a few weeks ago. Jay-Z was saying the best thing that men can do is learn to cry. Because he went through a tough period, that there was infidelity in their marriage. They went through therapy, and he's really saying that part.
I hope she made me cry. I hope she made me cry a lot.
Well, you know what he said? He really had to learn about the things that were keeping him numbed out, and not really dealing with his own emotions. And it was very courageous of him, and it was really.
That was in the New York Times article. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I didn't read it, but that's nice to hear.
Right.
That takes courage.
It does.
It really does.
It does, to say, you know what, I messed up, but I really adore my wife, and I need to get in touch with my own feelings.
And even if you're Jay-Z, and you're Jay-Z, your wife is friggin' Beyonce. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a man who needs to be really secure in his emotions and his life, because I don't know, maybe when everyone's home and sitting on the couch and whatever, they are who they are, but oh my God, to me, she is the queen.
She is the queen. She's just brilliant, beautiful, everything.
She's the queen. By the way, did you see the thing I sent you that our daughters have these aristocratic names. So did Gina's. So I love Tatler magazine from England. I think it's hilarious. Like, I just feel like the British know how to like gossip and make fun.
By the way, my sister Cavan, she knows the editor of Tatler. I've met her. Wait, I'm spacing on her name, but these women are so smart and so funny.
The wit. I mean, the British wit is the best, right? Yes. The British wit is the best. The style. Like, I love the part. I love everything. The party pictures, but they had this list of like the forever aristocratic girls' names. I'll put it up later. And boys' names. So our daughters, Amanda and Olivia, were on there. And then, of course, names like Beatrice and Quintana and like some of the very, I don't know, maybe some of them will jump. But none of our sons. And I thought for sure I'd see Richard. Richard wasn't on there. Like, but there was a lot of
William.
William was on there, and Kenneth.
George.
Not Harry.
Oh, not Harry.
I don't know why they chose what they chose, but it's fun to look at.
All right.
But of course, we know we have little queens at home.
We have
Olivia and Grace. So I was like, of course.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
So
that's a big controversy, that Matt Damon.
Okay, so I'm not up on this. What did Matt Damon say and do?
He is just a little bit less precise, maybe, on if someone's done something, like trying to say like, well, there's a big difference between grabbing people's asses and groping them versus raping them. And so that was his statement, and some of his friends have experienced on various levels of the spectrum being accused of harassment, and a lot of women a lot of actresses are taking big issue with this, saying he shouldn't say that.
Is ass grabbing okay? We're asking you. Taylor Swift won a very interesting lawsuit.
Yeah, she
against a radio DJ, I believe, this past summer. I don't think so. Gentlemen, if a woman leaned over and grabbed your butt, would you be okay?
I would not. Maybe it was Matt Damon. No, I would not be okay. But I think the point he's trying to make, and this is where my fear is, that everybody gets so crazy that it gets then not taken seriously, because what he was saying is it's not somebody who maybe pinched someone's butt one day is not the same as somebody who locked you in the room and raped you or totally sexually assaulted you. And he was trying to say, like, they shouldn't maybe suffer for the rest of their life or be thrown out of their career because they did that 10 years ago, versus he does think somebody who assaults and, whatever. So that's what I think his point was. I don't think he was trying to say it's okay. I think he was trying to say there's various
of sexual assault.
Like I said, I mean, if somebody, do you think that someone who 10 years ago grabbed someone's butt in the office should be fired today and never, hired by the industry again? Is that the same? It does go along a spectrum, and there's a lot of gray areas, and the punishments should not be the same for this end of the spectrum. And this end of the spectrum is his point.
Okay. I guess maybe possibly a fine or an apology. But here's the other piece of that, which is I didn't realize that our taxpayers have paid out something like $17 million to settle sexual harassment allegations.
For the people we vote for.
For the people we vote for. I want that
Not
money
the people
back.
we voted for.
No,
that I know.
Although we would have voted for Al Franken. Although I don't know if he paid out sexual.
I have some friends from Minnesota who for a while have been saying he's not such a great guy, but they wouldn't tell me. I don't know if they knew this kind of thing. They were, and they are Democrats, and they love Susan Klobuchar. Is that how you say her last name? The other senator, but whatever. So I don't know.
Okay,
but anyways, that's a long debate. That's my only fear is, though, if people are going to go crazy about every inappropriate innuendo or pinch or anything that ever happened, then I'm afraid that people will use that and kind of started making fun of women being too sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Right. I feel like there has to be a point where you say, like, okay, that was so wrong, so and I was a jerk, and
swung so far over.
Right. I'm afraid. I don't want anyone to use it for their whatever. And of course I think it's terrible, and of course I think it's wrong, and I don't think anyone's pinching anyone today, except for like places where they've never turned on the news. Do you think? Maybe they are. They probably are. But I mean, do you think somewhere in the offices along Post Road that people are right now grabbing someone's butt?
I think it still goes on. I just think that
you have to be like living in a cave to do that.
But I still think there's a lot of education and understanding, and we're not going to change this whole culture overnight.
No,
it's going to take a really
not
long
at all.
time. But at least we're talking about it.
No, I'm sure it's happening. I'm sure it's happening and happening in like also sly ways. There's such like a lot of subtle ways to do this, but I do think that I'm hoping that a lot less people are grabbing someone or doing something appropriate today, and if nothing else.
So Laura Campbell saying good morning. Hello, beauties.
Hello.
Hello. Beauty back. Minnie Driver.
Well, she also.
Oh, she was saying okay. So
about Matt Damon. That's what I was like saying. She was really kind of giving it to him.
Oh, got it.
How about Omarosa? Let's talk about something fun. Or
oh my goodness.
Should we even give her a minute more of air time?
Yeah.
Well, what was she doing there in the first place?
I know, it was, and did you know that she signed her correspondence the Honorable Omarosa? And that's usually supposed to be reserved for like judges.
An admiral, maybe, or something. A
so
navy.
Never quite clear what she was doing to begin with.
Ambassador.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Blood test for cancer risk. This is interesting. So I unfortunately in my family there's been a lot of cancer. It's taken quite a toll. So my doctor recommended having actually a DNA blood test for cancer. And it was kind of interesting. It came out that I only had one elevated risk for colon cancer. But I didn't know that even existed.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. So I got tested for lung, melanoma, colon, and breast cancer.
For your risk potential?
Risk potential.
Wow.
And I thought it was a great idea.
And colon, melanoma, and breast, which are, probably the foremost.
The big top.
So what do you ask for?
So the doctor suggested it once. He'd seen this huge long history of all the people in my family, and he said, I really think you should get this. And I think the insurance company turned it down. I think that's in the end. But it was a $300 charge.
That's it?
Which I thought was a worthwhile investment.
Considering how much everything is, that's amazing. It's really weird how they don't. I feel like my insurance company, when I've had great insurance, the Royal Bank of Canada, they're like amazing. But little things are starting to stop being covered that were covered before, and things that were $25 copay are now $500, and I'm sure that's more of what's to come. And the thing is, a lot of them are so preventative. Like this could keep you from major costs. Right? So there's other things too that I think could keep from major costs. And
so heads up, ask your doctors about this, and it might be worth saving up some money to do this, especially if you're like me with so many people in your family that have suffered.
That might actually, because I know to get tested for the breast cancer gene is a few $1,000s, so that's incredible. Oh, wow. It's expensive if you go through all like the BRCA gene testing and everything, and sometimes insurance will cover it, depending. And again, everything's changing, but that $300 seems really like a good.
Okay, a couple things in the news. We had this derailment in an Amtrak train, which was supposed to be this great new, like, inaugural run for this train, and it looks like it could have been distracted driving.
Oh God, I saw that. That was so horrific and scary, and
the train was like hanging off of the overpass. It was like out of a crazy movie.
And the people below. See, I have this huge fear of being hit by a train in a car.
You do?
Because I know someone that happened to.
Really?
And in Chicago, where I'm from, the train tracks, which you don't see here much, you see in Long Island, are like flat to the road.
Yeah.
So you're waiting, you're always waiting for the train to go by, and it's just always been a fear of mine, and I just, oh my God, what a heartbreaker. Oh, so horrible.
It's terrible. Good morning, Sarah Kate Benison. Hello. I haven't seen you in a while. Hello. How are you?
I want to talk about the marriage article with the questions.
Yeah, you want to go there?
Did you save those?
Oh, I did. It's all here.
Okay. No, go in your order.
You want to go in order?
I just didn't want to miss it because I actually wished I'd had it almost 30 years ago, and I feel like maybe it could be something that should be renewed like every year or 5 years to talk about, because these are great questions.
These are great questions. All right, so I'm going to skip forward.
We'll go back.
Do you want to talk about some news, the GOP tax reform?
Since I don't really quite understand exactly what's going to happen to me, except I don't think it's going to be good.
I don't think it's going to be good. I
have to say that this is what I keep thinking. And the same thing, if 2 years ago or 3 years ago, before Donald Trump ever ran, and you were picturing like someone said, like, if Donald Trump ran for president, what do you think it would be like? And you'd be like, Omarosa would be in the White House, and the tax bill would, like, of course, favor real estate developers and the rich. Hello.
There we are.
It's not really, and like his whole marketing of I'm helping the middle class, whatever, it's just exactly almost like you would have pictured him to be. And I almost, just too bad he didn't, he was smart enough to know not to run on what he truly would be like or do to get in there. Yeah. Because he wouldn't have gotten in there. There's not enough voters, but he is certainly, this certainly favors.
Well, and it's going to be a $1.5 trillion
which is
hole
great
in another deficit. So I don't know what happened to all those really conservative hawks on the GOP who really worried about increasing the tax.
Who were shutting down the budget, the government before over it.
So I mean, we might grow ourselves out of this. If maybe. Okay,
I'm hoping
now
for the best, but I'm
this
still unclear.
Really cool article about what to ask before you get married.
Okay. Or even during, or afterwards. Maybe as another wrap up. Serious.
Exactly. Okay. So being a therapist and doing a lot of couples therapy, this to me too is a really wonderful guideline. And now that I'm back to being single, right? These are really good things to keep in mind. All right. Here's a good one. How did your families deal with disagreements? Did some yell? Did some shut down? So did you talk to Richard about
I don't think we talked about one question on here. And you know what? I always thought, I never went through this, but I always thought, at least in the Catholic religion, you have to meet before you're married, right? And talk
meeting
about
before
things.
you're married is good.
Meeting before you're married is good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to say, I've never had one person in my life say, when you're married, this is really important. And certainly no, not holding that against anybody. I'm just saying it just didn't happen. Not from a family member, not from a friend. And I never sat down with Richard and said, when we're married, blah, blah. The only thing I did say is, okay, I want to raise the kids Jewish, and that's really important to me. So that was after we were dating for 3 or 4 months. And so if you don't feel like that you can do that, I think we got to stop this. Yeah. And he was like, no, I'm not religious at all, and that's fine as long as I can have Christmas, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Well, that's one of the big questions is religion.
Okay, but can I say that kind of worked and it kind of didn't?
Yeah.
Because while we generally followed those guidelines, it takes much more discussion. There's a lot of, unless you're totally not into it and your family's totally not into it. And our families were great. That's the one thing. I thought maybe they'd each be a little tricky. Yeah. Well, that's a big deal.
It's really important. Actually, this is one of the things I've said along the way, which is I think every college or even community college or even high school should have a relationship 101 class where even these questions would be addressed. Another question, which is really awesome that I wouldn't have to think about this if I ended up with anybody right now, is do you want to have kids? And if so, who's going to do the diapers? And those are really important questions.
But some really only one person do the diapers still?
Yeah, well,
this day and age?
You know what? There's still some families that one spouse has to go pretty far, especially around here. They go to the city, and the other spouse,
but when they're home or it's the week. Well, of course, when you're home, but if it's the weekend, they're not changing a diaper.
I know, but it's still pretty tough, and there's a lot of stress on these families.
Yeah,
if somebody's really commuting a long way. And
besides, how long does that take? 15 minutes a day?
But I think diapers just the tip of the big iceberg. Remember, somebody's got to be doing all the scheduling and all the driving and all the doctor's appointments.
That's bigger,
when I look at the word diapers, to me it means the big picture.
All the poop.
All the stuff. All the poop. This is a good one, and I think a lot of people shy away from this. Will our exes, the relationships prior to us, haunt the present relationship? Are you gonna
only 25, 30 years later, maybe on a social media. I didn't have any of that. Did you?
Well, yeah,
you did.
Yeah.
You had someone who was still.
Yeah. One of my ex-husbands was really.
You're too unforgettable. Yeah. That's the problem.
Religion is one, of course. You got to figure out what's your.
There's a lot of that. I mean, there's so many mixed couples around here,
which is so cool.
And there's a lot of workshops at temples and churches and stuff, which is really nice. Yeah. I never did it, but I think it's really good.
I like that. All right, this is a tough one because I think a lot of people have a harder time talking about this than sex. Debt. Your finances. Whose debt's whose? If you accumulate some together, is yours from before?
Right.
This is a really important issue.
Well, the money thing is the worst.
Yeah. Did you guys?
I came with no debt because I was, first of all, very young. I just, I worked and, what did I spend every month? I didn't come. So that's a different situation for me. But it's more now maybe how we spend money, how we invest things, how, I think that's money and sex, right, are probably the two biggest things always. Yeah. And in a unique situation because you have nobody else, no other relationship where you have to combine all these things.
Well, I have a few young couples in my practice, and they and I always say to them, one of the pillars of long-term, really great success is being, financially secure, but transparent, setting goals that are the two of you have. Okay, whether it's retirement or college, or we really want to go on that amazing trip somewhere special. That part of that conversation together is so important, but we get really triggered about money and what to do with money.
And rightfully so. And I think
scary.
you're, again, had not, Richard was making a good living. I was actually doing all right. We had no debt. We had money to spend. So it started off so stress-free. But then as time goes on, lots of stuff, kids, houses, whatever. But we never had that. We just kind of dealt with it as it came. Bad idea, I think. This is so much better. And I feel like now people are so much on the same. From the time they're dating and they're sharing the bill immediately. And they're going away and they're both paying to,
It's really important. Jay Lepp, hey, good morning, Jay. How are you? My dog is going to scream.
Someone outside.
Somebody's outside. Yes, we will post the list. It is such a good list.
This is amazing. Okay, continue.
Yeah, continue.
Hazel also had a problem with the finances.
Continuing on the finance question is, what is the most you'll spend on some crazy item, like whether it's a car or a pair of shoes? For us, it would be probably shoes.
Oh, yeah. So how bad could that be in the whole scheme of the world?
But shoes. But a car would have...
would you go out and surprise as a surprise?
Yes. No, I've seen this where a couple where the husband came home with an extraordinarily expensive car
without saying a word and just
didn't say a word.
That would be really annoying.
Yeah, I think you need to discuss those big purchases.
I feel like you should. But the thing is, every situation's different. Everybody, how they have their money's different. Maybe somebody has money from their family, or they, had some windfall and they said, okay, this is mine. So, everyone's different, right?
But you need to talk about that stuff.
But the surprise can be very...
It's upsetting.
I don't know. I like I said, I think that's to each couple to decide.
Yeah.
If you're spending money, that should be allotted for something that you need and practical.
Well, it's a betrayal if you just...
But then I also don't want to feel like every purchase is monitored, and I know a lot of people like that too. They literally tell their husband or wife, or I assume they tell their wife, I don't even know. Today I bought this shirt, and I, spent $25 on makeup at the drugstore and I did this. Oh, no, never. I don't know. Everybody has to decide their comfort zone, right?
Yeah, no, but
what's kind of fine? Like you go buy your stuff,
do your basics, and then But so those really large purchases, I do believe that you either have agreed or talked about it, or it's something. Again, transparency is so important, and sort of at least getting your
transparency with maybe 5%. I get to go buy something, or you get to go with your friends, and
how boring, that'd be so boring. Right. And then here's a good one. How much can you deal with your spouse or your partner doing stuff away from you, like doing their own thing? Like I know some couples where one will go away for months.
Months?
Yeah.
Because their job, or because they just...
Well, one of them has family in a different country or something.
That again, I feel like I haven't learned much, but one thing I've learned is never to judge another couple.
You can't judge another couple.
Everybody's situation is different, and marriage is not this. Mm-hmm. Marriage can be
all over
this, and if it works for them, that they're
exactly, they're
fine
with
it. Could be really exciting when you see each other again. Maybe you have a week apart, a weekend apart, a month.
How long's the longest you've spent away from Rich?
Maybe a week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not very long.
That's not so bad. I think that's okay.
I think anything's okay.
I remember Paul McCartney and his wife Linda. She passed. I don't think they ever spent a night apart.
Well, she wouldn't let him
in all their lives.
That's why she was in the band, even though she wasn't that great. Because she said, if I'm the groupies, it would be impossible.
It's amazing.
Also,
but there's another couple we know that here in Fairfield, they've never spent a night apart.
That's cool.
It's kind of cool.
That's why I'm saying, that's their part of this circle.
Everything's different.
And then I have a friend who she's probably watching. Her husband, he's a conductor. He goes all over the world.
How cool is that?
And he's sometimes gone for a month, and then he comes home and it's really fun. And I think no rules to me. No rules on any marriages, as long as it works for the two.
Yeah, discussing it.
But I do like the transparency and the... And the discussion part of it.
And then this one doesn't, not so much at our age, but how do you like each other's parents? It's still important.
We've had we've had great in-laws.
Yeah, good. Here's one.
I'm only saying that because they're watching. I'm only kidding. They from the beginning, I'll never forget. We introduced them they did. We introduced them this night in Manhattan. I'll never forget. All of the six of us having dinner and everything like that. And they all tried so hard to be so nice to each other's kid, and they have really stayed that way.
So nice.
I have to give them that because
That's awesome.
Because I know they bit their tongue many times because they're not.
Yeah.
So
In-laws
remember
are
that.
important.
Bite your tongue.
Bite your tongue.
When
Yeah,
you
because
have-
our
when
kids
you
are,
have kids
well, my
that are-
oldest one just got married.
Yeah.
Michelle.
He's a doll.
He's a doll, and I love his parents. Love them, Greta and Barry.
So that's huge. But
Yeah.
something will come up, how they raise their kid, where they
Yeah.
go, what they do. And I think, not always, but often you have to just,
Be good. All right, this is a very important one. How important is sex?
well.
Yes, Joe.
Again, there may be couples who it's this important, and then others that it's here, and others who are more like brother and sister. So but obviously that should be determined. If it's not important when you're first getting married, it's probably going to get a lot less important, right?
Yeah, but at least being able to talk about it and discuss what each other's needs are, and if they're not being met, how are you going to find a way to...
And at least try and care what the other person
care
needs.
is huge. It's really, really important. Yeah. No, I believe that's a very
But there's some couples, look, there's people that marry people that are, gay and they're straight because they love each other so much and they've created a life, and so it's really not important. And then there's people that have sex every day. And I know some of them that still are.
For them. That's awesome.
And a shout out to you all.
Okay, this is an interesting one. Is flirting okay, and how far do you let it go?
It's really okay if it's like a really unattractive person that's like 50 years old. Oh, I think, a little.
A little,
right?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard of Esther Perel. She does a lot of really good, really interesting TED Talks.
Our dream guest.
She's a dream guest. Yeah, I actually interviewed her on my radio show a couple of years ago. Oh, she's really
we should go visit her. She's the most unbelievable person.
That actually would be a really
yes,
fun
it would.
Because we're planning to get into the city this next year. And
once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah,
and do
we
some
have
fun
some
stuff.
really cool
She
people to talk to.
So, but her thing is, flirting is okay. She sort of she said, using the shadow of the other. It's sort of seeing how somebody else sees your spouse, and maybe even finding that to be a bit of a turn on. Like, you actually see them from different eyes. Like, you're just used to seeing them in their, their ratty sweats, and you're like, you sort of forget about how cute they are, and maybe, you can see the fact that somebody's like, wow, he's hot at that party, and maybe you'll see it and feel excited too.
Definitely.
Interesting, right?
I see that. So I don't know how you, I don't know. Some people are really good at flirting and it's meaningless, and they, there's some guys that always give you a compliment. Their wives don't seem to care. Like, I have friends like that. Yeah. They're just like that. They always notice something on, your hair, what you're wearing. They'll say you look really great. Their wife is sitting there. The wife just doesn't care because they know that's just how they are, and it's not that important. And other people, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I know I've had the experience where I've flirted and the other person took it way too seriously. I'm like, no, I was just teasing you. Right. Right.
And then you do have a jealousy thing. I don't know. That's a whole... Again, I say there's this big of a spectrum for marriage, and for some people, no flirting. No flirting. It will throw them into a tizzy. Other people don't really care. It's like, good. Someone's like flirting with them.
Here's another one. Is porn okay?
Oh, boy. Again, right? Don't we make the big circle?
Yeah, but talk about it, because... it could be okay with you. It could be not okay with your partner. You really have to discuss it.
I think I told you this, that I'm friends with somebody who writes Wealthy Single Mommy, and Emma Johnson, and she has this great book, The Kick-Ass Single Mom. Yeah. And she's like, well, if you want gender equality, why don't you get guys to stop watching porn for a day, like make an outlaw day, because that has made their expectations of what a woman should look like and be like so high that it's very detrimental, or what sex should be like. And I don't know. I don't really watch. I tried, honestly, but it's just like I'm not that into it. So
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, but if somebody wants to, maybe they'll get a good idea.
Make it part of what
they might get a motivation.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, if it becomes an addiction, that's another story. And if it gets in the way of your relationship, that's a whole other story.
I mean, I wouldn't want to come downstairs every night and see my husband or my partner on the computer watching porn every night. I would feel a little... Right, so I don't know what the right balance is, but again, what if you both like to watch together? Because I know couples that like to watch together, and that works for them. They come up with really good ideas. So there is so much here. I'm sure I failed. I've now gotten like a D on all of them. Maybe not the in-laws. Go ahead.
This one I actually love, because I use this with my couples a lot in therapy. There's a book called The 5 Languages of Love. Yeah, I'm forgetting the guy's name. But here and it's kind of knowing what your partner's language is. So one's words of affirmation, the other one's acts of service. So doing things.
What does that mean?
Time together. Acts of service would be, I have a friend who tells me he makes coffee for his wife every morning, and that makes him feel...
That's an act of service?
Yes, that's kind of saying, I'm doing something for you, honey, because I love you so much. So,
I get
words of
coffee every
acknowledgement... you too?
I didn't know I was getting an act of service.
So sweet, but
I have
that's...
to give like a star, a gold bronze star or something.
So that's...
I thought it was something more exciting.
This is interesting because... for some people, the words of acknowledgement, like "honey, I love you" and "you're so amazing," are hard for them to express. But their acts of service, bringing you coffee, for example, it's much more fluid for them. Right. Time together is another of the 5 languages of love. So just hanging out. Like I have someone in my practice who, for him, it really is just being together.
That's so nice.
It's so nice. Another one is giving gifts or receiving gifts.
That's good too.
Good.
These are all good languages,
right? And what is the one I miss? I'm gonna miss.
Does anyone speak all of them? Are they bilingual, trilingual?
So, well, the last one is physical touch, and that can mean just holding hands, or it could mean full on sex.
Right.
So some people really need to have a lot of sex to feel loved by their partner. So a lot of this, and I get my couples to really talk about this, which is what are your 2 top languages, and what is your spouse top languages?
Wow.
Yeah.
And what if the 2 languages? What if you do not speak the same languages at all?
Well, the 5 of them, we're all going to speak to some degree, but being able to understand and recognize what your spouse does for you and what they're looking for, and somehow doing your best to fulfill what their needs are.
So if they definitely need the acts of service, or if that really makes them feel happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it could be like, did you know that today I got your car washed and picked up your dry cleaning, and I brought you home your favorite food?
Yeah. Those are a bunch of acts of service. Or one where your spouse may really need a lot of words of acknowledgement. Like, hey, I just saw you just did that made me feel really good. Or they may not want to hear that, they just want gifts.
Or sex.
So
okay, they all work though.
And I love it, Camellia saying that this is juicy. Dr. Lawrence, good morning. We love you.
Dr. Lawrence, you're coming on next time.
And John Branley saying, good morning, ladies. Good morning, Jill. Happy holidays.
No, it's such a good... That's why when I read this article, we have to get into length in this, because it really is fascinating, and I'm sure there's people that have tackled a lot of these before marriage. But why not visit them during marriage? Or during dating? Well, I mean, severe... You know what, though? People's answers change over, just true. Because you say this, or you say, like, I have
you have
this.
to keep discussing it. So this is live.
And different circumstances enter in, etc.
Here's another one, which I think this is good. What do you admire, and what are your pet peeves about me? What do you admire about me, and what are your pet peeves?
You, me, to you.
Well, no, if we were a couple.
Yes.
This is part of the couple thing.
If we were a couple, it would be much less stressful. What do I admire? And you're supposed to tell them before you're married, these are my pet peeves about you, and this is what I admire about you.
That would be interesting. If you were that open about, by the way, I hate it when you pick your teeth, or...
We might have done the admire pet peeves. I don't know. I can't remember. But I think that's... Well, they're all great.
These are great. And the last one is...
If you approach them not defensively, which is probably really hard to do a lot, and, honestly, go ahead.
Last one is, how do you see us 10 years from now? So, and this is a good question too, like
there's children,
different stages
living
of life.
Here,
like for us,
saving this money.
Like, do you see
traveling the world?
Would you be retired? Would you be living in
North
Carolina?
No.
Would you? Would you? No. I have friends who are like, I just want to go live in Santa Barbara. Or
I have a friend who just came from Santa Barbara because she was evacuated.
Oh,
too bad. It's like the nicest.
It's the most.
Or she wasn't, but all so many houses were.
Yeah. But having a vision of where the 2 of you will be and how it will look in 10 years is an important thing. And again, this is a live discussion because life stages changes.
Where would your dream place to be in 10 years to live? With or without?
I'd love a nice place in the city.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and maybe something smaller out here.
And not anything like in a warm...
I don't know.
Vacation.
I really like going to Florida. There's lots of warm places I like to go. I just also know the expense of the city.
Right.
So you're probably good at either or, and just go visit, do an Airbnb somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I have to say, like, as time goes on, I keep trying to say I don't want the stress of New York, and I don't, but I do. I love it. And my son told me, Mom, you're just a global city person, because he's like, once you start doing them, either you're sick of it, but, you know, London would be good, New York.
Paris.
Yeah, Paris. Those are the global, you know, there's only a few global cities. I think there's 6 or 7. Yeah. I'm not even sure if LA or San Francisco count, but that could do it too, I guess. I need that part of the time. Otherwise, I think I'd be a little bored.
So we are definitely going to post this. Thanks, Jay, for asking for us to post the list, which it's great.
Do you want my $5 stocking stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so we can. This is a family show, but not. So here is. It's so funny. So have you ever been to? Do you remember? Did you ever go with Olivia to Max Bremmer's, that chocolate place in the city? Maybe you never.
No,
maybe you never had the.
I probably need to stay away from that.
So yesterday, though, I went with this friend of mine, Jen, we went to Lady M's, which is this unbelievably decadent bakery. It's around the city. And there's one right on Bryant Park, and then all through Bryant Park are, like, really good little store, you know, like set up for holiday, like a gallery and really fun things. So food and jewelry and
I love
beautiful. I mean, really fun. Grand Central. Oh, Grand Central, I have to say. So Grand Central has such a good,
those
holiday.
shops.
But you know who's there?
The market, Swanky
Belts, and also Into Design. I was like, out of all of these, 2 are from here. It was kind of exciting,
cool.
and they were doing. Anyways, there's a lot of cute things there too. Really fun if you're in Grand Central.
So $5 gifts.
So $5 gift. So my girlfriend that I was with does PR, and it's so funny. She does a lot of toys, electronics. She does a lot of dirty, really fun stuff. She gave me something so, like, you've never heard of these things that she comes. But she's like, you have to buy this. I never thought of it this way. They have a Max Bremmer, which is like chocolate. It's a restaurant, but they had a chocolate. It's all chocolate.
What is that?
This is a chocolate syringe. It's $5. Now,
syringe.
Tell me this isn't for everyone. First of all, kids love this. You pop it in your mouth, or you put it all over your whatever you want, cereal, toast, ice cream. But her suggestion was that I get this, or somebody, I should say somebody get this, and they write, like, she said you could just write, like, on someone's arm, cherish,
and you get to
or
lick
I
it off.
love you. You can take it off however you can use a washcloth, or you can, it's a family show, or you can lick it off, or you can do whatever you want with this for $5. So tell me who wouldn't like this unless they're like a complete, you know, I hate sugar, everything. But kids love this, because I said to my daughter, did you ever, she goes, Mom, that's what they're famous for. Everyone knows the chocolate syringes. I'm like, I don't know the chocolate syringe. But again, $5, tell me that's not a fun gift for, like, your girlfriend, your kid, anyone. Take it as you wish.
Rick Higgins
for you, by the way. It's my gift.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Someone must be calling to find out how to get it.
Rick Higgins is saying hi. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Speaking of a wonderful man and a really wonderful company here in Fairfield.
I've never heard anything but the nicest words about him, and I mean that.
He is such a lovely person. Hi, good morning, Rick. He's been so good to me too. Yeah. So a couple of things we wanted to just do shout outs for all of the most amazing sponsors that have been supportive to us this year.
Right.
We started out at Lattice House, our first home, so shout out to these guys.
What a cute store.
Amazing.
Not even cute. What a gorgeous store.
Gorgeous. The Neg, those ladies who created that really
and
fabulous.
I love mine.
You do? You've been using
the egg. Yes.
Awesome.
I love purple eggs.
KL Home. Those ladies are great.
And great gifts still.
Cat Perkins shoes. You guys, if
amazing.
You're going to travel, get Cat Perkins. Fox Pond, R. Scott Green
with his delicious
catering. Oh, it was amazing. Dr. Melendez.
Oh, I love him. Great plastic surgeon and breast reconstruction surgeon.
Amazing. Lisa Topham, who talked about some amazing things that are going on.
All kinds of like cosmetic enhancements, fillers. I love her whole being.
Yeah. Alcone, Zandra was here. Talking about beautiful products, lipsticks.
And I have the Sunkissed Glow, which I brought to Miami too, because it's just you put on for the day, you add a little more tan on your legs, on your face, whatever, and it's cheap.
And of course we were at Wave at one point with the best
Christmas
holiday gifts.
The one where you got my bracelet.
And the blouse that I got there,
right,
it's been one of my favorite items.
And it was under $100,
yes,
right?
Yeah,
she has such a good eye, and there's a lot of great prices there too.
Dr. Christine Gould, of course, we got our little BBL laser last week.
That's right. And we'll wait till you see our next.
And we're going to come back with our before and afters. Fred Astaire Dance Studio. We were there. Remember that?
Oh my God!
So fun.
I was supposed to take lessons and I didn't, so that's on one of my lists.
Yes,
for next year.
New Year resolution. We were going to try to do resolutions. I don't know if we're going to get it.
Really fun.
Go dance, and this is a great thing to do with your partner. It's just really fun and good to sync up a little bit on a rhythm thing. We all like that. Save the children.
Oh my God!
Right.
Like the fact that it's in Fairfield. Located, headquartered in Fairfield, but saving children, literally more than ever, every single country. Yeah, fabulous place.
American Cancer Society. Right. We were there thanks to John Brownlee, Dr. Camellia Lawrence. Yep.
One of our heroines. Hi. Breast care surgeon.
So we've had an absolutely wonderful time developing the show.
Right.
We've learned a lot.
We have. In our rookie season, which we started just like almost on a lark, kind of seemed like let's see where it goes, and we've had really good response. I was going to say that my resolution this year, like you said, pick one word, and my word is money. And my word is money because I want to make more money. And one thing I do in a couple of ways. One of the ways is from this show. We, I'm going to just say we're looking for some bigger sponsors so that we can take this bigger and do more interesting things with it. So that's one thing. I want to raise more money for, and I want to donate more money. So I'm just am looking at it in all ways. That's my one word.
So, so one word resolutions. Everybody go. Start telling us right now. Cameron Thornton, she's saying you guys are too cute. Hi, Cameron. Write down right now, what's your one word resolution? Right? Because I love that. Money's good. Mine's
but
love.
I'm going to use it for good, good reasons.
Donating, just creating it. But for me, love. Right? Just being loving. We like that, right? I've got my doggy right here.
I think your circle's going to get a lot wider than just the doggy. And I'm tired of saying that I'm going to do more cardio and drink more water because I feel like every day I say to myself, okay, I'm going to do more cardio, I'm going to drink more water, So I'm trying to look at it that way. I want to give more money to so many worthy causes, and I want to get a sponsor, make this bigger, really and work on something else.
So you guys, if you know of a sponsor who might want to really support this, because each week we usually end up getting somebody to come in to help us make it happen. So it's a lot of work. We love it, but it would be really nice to have one long-term sponsor. So that's what we're looking for right now. I think we should maybe wrap it up because we've been chit-chatting for a while.
Boring the entire Fairfield County and beyond.
But again, a huge thank you for everybody who's been watching this. Please share the video. The more we get it out there, the more we can do.
Right.
And we've had a lot of fun.
And we're starting our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Trevor and Jill Talk, which is probably what we're changing the name to.
We're going to change the name.
Or at least this will be a subtitle under there because we have some other areas to hit as well. And Happy New Year. We're going to skip next week, right?
Yeah, we're going to skip next week. So we will see you in 2018, and everybody go out and get your...
Get a chocolate syringe.
Chocolate syringe. Thank you, Jill.
Look for love.
Yeah, look for love. Get your money
love
stuff
where you find it.
Yeah, and money, and these are good things, right? So, yay, Jill.
Yay.
Awesome.
Okay, yay.
All right, bye.
I hope whoever's buzzing me